How's it going, everyone? This is your hungover Griever here, bringing you guys another episode of Behind the Bar Reviews for One Piece and One Piece chapter 938. Alright. Let's just get into this. This chapter was relatively short. We jump around a lot like we've been doing in Wano, so really there wasn't really much to go over. Now, some people on Twitter, on Facebook, on all the other type of social medias, on Discord and such, and here on YouTube, we'll be talking about Zoro getting this one injury and falling and saying all the people, Zoro haters and Sanji over Zoro fanboys and blah, 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 are going to use this as an example to say, look at Zoro, he's being fodderized and stuff, Sanji wouldn't have done that and such like that. Okay, two things. Number one, at the beginning we see that he actually did defeat Kamazo or whatever, however you pronounce his name, Kamazo, and he's down. And so he turns around and there's a key frame here where he looks over at Yukimaru and says, and apparently you do pronounce the G in Yukimaru, it's not Yukimaru like I previously thought, so correction there. He looks over and says something along the ways of, "Damn it, before our battle." And he's like, sort of like this. And then we see a shot of Yukimaru grinning and slowly walking away, rather than finishing Zoro off or anything. And this is when Zoro slowly loses consciousness and falls into the snow. Now, I just want to reiterate one thing. That is one key thing. The other key thing is that people are going to say, oh, well, because of his injury to his shoulder, it was bleeding, so he passed out from pain or blood loss or something, right? This is the guy. Do I need to, you know what? I won't even say anything else. I'll just show this. Yeah. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but he took a scythe blade to the shoulder. Okay, I don't think I need to actually waste your guys' time and mine to explain how there is something else going on here. Because Zoro don't pass out. Zoro don't fade from one sword wound. So what I think actually happened is he said, "Damn it," before our battle, looking over at Yukimaru, and he grinned. He either poisoned one of his blades. He's using a devil fruit of some sort to mess with him. He, poisoned his food or his water supply, something. Something happened. Zoro was given some type of poison or something to, screw him up or something. I have to believe that because it doesn't make sense from any other, and even Zoro realizes something happened before our battle sort of idea. Now some people will tell me, oh no, that's a translation thing. Or, oh no, what he meant was, damn it, before our battle can recommence, I want to ask you one thing sort of idea. Say what you will, but I don't think Oda showcased us what I've already shown against Kuma, for Zoro to go down and faint in the snow from one sword wound. I've seen him fight Arlong with massive injuries. I've seen him take on Luffy's pain. I've seen him take on multiple different battles where he's gotten way worse injuries. This clearly, either Kawamazu or whatever his name is, I don't really know how we're pronounced it. The killer's blade was either the scythes were poisoned or something, or Yukimaru did something. I'm under the belief that because Zoro said before our battle, damn it, before our battle, he's referring that he knows that something is in his bloodstream from Yukimaru, and that's why Yukimaru's grinning at him, ha 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 ha, and walks away rather than finishing him off because he thinks that this will take care of him or that he won't be back or something, right? So just wanted to get that part out of the way. So everyone just sit tight, sit down, sit tight. This doesn't showcase or prove anything. All it shows is that one of the main assassins of Orochi and all this stuff basically got one-shotted by Zoro. So let's just, with one name move and boom, one-shotted. So just remember that part, right? Now, After this, we jump over to the woman that's clearly not Komurasaki and clearly not Otoko or whatever. Mr. Samurai and stuff, and Zoro falls in the snow, and Yukimaru moves on. Then we jump over to Inarashi and Kinemon. We do not jump back to the prison in this chapter. So that's a little disappointing. But we jump over to Inarashi and Kinemon, and they're saying, how the hell did they figure out about the tattoos and the symbol on the piece of paper, the puzzle message and all that stuff? This is very bad. In the capital, our followers and our supporters are being picked off one by one, killed and thrown in prisons and all this other stuff, and we see it happening. X-Drake and Hawkins referring to it, talking about it. Everyone's like, this is the symbol of those people. Don't let them. And I am very curious to find out. Clearly there must be some form of traitor in their midst. Or this is part of the grand plan and they're playing it off. I don't see it that way. I'm thinking that somebody is... some people are going to talk about, I always forget his name, the handkerchief guy, Mr. Smiles from Ibisu Town, who does appear in this chapter. Perhaps he is actually an informant or a spy or something. It would make sense, but I think we're being led to believe that. Somebody else here has to be a spy or an informant or something, because I don't see this being a good part of any plan, like to make the enemy think that this was the real message or something. That seems like an awful lot of life and prison and sacrifice of Wano's people for this, so I don't think people like Kinemon and them would agree to such a thing. That would go against the honor of being a samurai. So there's got to be a leak. There's got to be a spy somewhere. And after this, we see Kyoshiro, of course, the murderer of Komurasaki, and he's talking about the funeral and how they're going to hold it off, and he shouldn't really show his face very much because the people are in mourning. They know you were the one who killed her. You know, the rumors spread like wildfire, and this is all going bad. And Kyoshiro has something to play here, because clearly, he's... I believe that Kyoshiro must... along with the other Yakuza bosses of the other 4 regions, from what I remember, they must all have some sort of connection to getting Hyogoro of the Flowers back or something, because something to this doesn't add up. He is being an informant on the other side of things. He's working with Komurasaki. I think Kyoshiro is honestly 100% not on Orochi's side. Maybe he's playing the field. Maybe he's simply Volume 1 Nami, only after gold. For what purpose? We don't know. It could be noble, could be sleazy. But at the end of the day, his thing ends and starts with money. That's his thing. So he figures that maybe he hasn't been he's been treated all right, but he knows that this can't keep up or something. The rebellion's not good for business, something like that. And so he's either hoping to squash the rebellion, or maybe let's bring the others back into power. And maybe he's looking for a position. It's like, if I stay here and I help Komurasaki, who may or may not be Kinemon's daughter or Hiyori or whatever, this could all go to something. You know, it could be a huge thing. It could be a major thing, right? So there are so many possibilities with this, but Kyoshiro clearly has a main part to play. He's been showcased in multiple chapters as one of the Yakuza bosses, if not the Yakuza boss. But if I remember correctly, when they were talking about Hyogoro of the Flowers, is that there were multiple Yakuza bosses of each region, but he was the one who commanded the respect of every district, regardless of his own district, but also the others included. So Kyoshiro, I can imagine, is the Flower Capital District. He is the boss of there, but there are other Yakuza bosses from this statement. So kind of hard to figure that out. After this, we jump over to, leading into that, we jump over to Nami and Sanji in the group, and Nami has beaten Sanji black and blue at this point, and Sanji's like, I didn't even get to see anything anyway, sort of idea. Yeah, you did, Sanji. Yeah, you did. You don't need to lie. So a little bit of banter back and forth, and we see that Shinobu is very ticked. So Law has not been captured, or didn't go on the run, but Beppo and his men did. So clearly there may be translation errors here for me. So I'm going to have to go back and take a look at this, because I believe when Sanji escaped with Nami and Shinobu and Robin and all them, they mentioned something about Law being missing or Law being captured or something. Unless it was supposed to be Luffy, not Traffy. But I don't see that. And so I'm curious. I'm very curious to figure out what exactly happened there and why that line was said that way, because Law seems to be in the same spot he was with Frankie and Usopp and the like. They talk about this a little bit. Now Shinobu, of course, is getting really worked up. She's like, okay, Beppo, like the bear and your crew members, Law, have been captured. We need to silence them, pretty much. And Law's like, are you kidding me? I will slice you all up right now if you try to say that. They will never talk and stuff. And this is where it goes from banter to serious, where she starts like crying and weeping openly, saying, like, we have waited 20 years for this. I will not allow anything to screw this up. You don't understand. We have waited basically longer than you've been alive for this moment. And we're going to screw it all up because of a couple people that I've never met before? I don't think so. I can't take that chance. And in all honesty, it is harsh, but it's not a bad reality. This is One Piece is shown, and so sometimes they skirt around dark topics. Oda has always done this. But this is not a bad reason. And Shinobu's not wrong to assume that. Remember that we know who these people are, but to them, 20 years waiting, these are strangers who just showed up and claim they're going to help. They have no background, they have no history, they don't know, and they don't know who they can trust. Remember that they have had to live under the radar, not trusting anybody for over 20 years, since Odin's death and the Kazuki clan failed and Kaido and all this stuff. It's been a very hard, long wait for them. And to just go out on a limb and trust the word of a stranger would be very, very difficult for them. So, in reality, Shinobu's reasoning about silencing any loose ends for the sake of the goal. Remember that they don't care about the One Piece. They don't care about the world government. They don't care about all these big things going on. What they care about is their country and saving their country. And if we have to sacrifice a few lives for the greater good of saving this country after 20 years, that's a small price to pay, and a price they're all willing to basically pay. That's kind of the idea. Now, of course, she is talked down and stuff by some of the other members of the group, but at the end of the day, I did feel for that. I felt bad, and I went, you know what? I mean, I don't want anything to happen, and I know this is One Piece, but Shinobu's got a point. And even though she is talked down from it, it did make a lot of sense to me. Anyway, so they bring up the fact, I always forget his name, but Handkerchief Smiles guy at Ibisu Town there, the little dancer dude, he shows up and thinks now he's a goddess and all this stuff, and brings up the piece of paper and it's like, oh, look at this, like, is this what you guys mean about this? Now, this is where a lot of people are going to think that potentially they are the actual, where Beppo and them might have leaked the information, but it could be this guy. He could be like, I've smiled all this time, I smiled for all these years, but my people die and I'm here to help. He could be Midnight Oxboy for all we know, or he could be the traitor. I think Oda's trying to lay it on a little thick that he is the traitor, but I have another theory in mind, and we'll get to that here in the last part of the chapter. Now here we see that Zoro has been tended to and taken care of by Komurasaki, not Komurasaki person, and the little girl Otoko. He wakes up and says, it was my foolishness that got me hurt. Once again, still believe that something else happened. A poison blade, something else went down, because we've seen Zoro take way worse injuries and way worse stuff and still stay standing and keep moving forward. So it doesn't make any sense to me. He wakes up, basically grabs his sword, said, well, thanks, but I gotta go. And there's a bit of banter back and forth. They explain about Kyukimaru of the bridge. They basically explain the story of Benkai, which I already went through in the previous review. That's from Japanese lore and stuff. Benkai was the one who collected 99 swords. Another based off of Gilgamesh. A lot of people will recognize that name from Final Fantasy and the Fate series and stuff like that. Gilgamesh and Benkai share a lot of qualities. I forget which came first, the chicken or the egg. I believe Benkai was the original concept and Gilgamesh was modeled after this. But either way, so basically Zoro goes, well, I guess there's no rush if he just stays there on the bridge and takes people's swords like the legend says. So I got no problem with that, but then he asks, like, why is the Grim Reaper sort of looking dude after you? Why was that killer guy? They explain that we pissed off the Shogun, Orochi, blah, blah, blah. Then they start healing his wounds, and then here's where a lot of people are going to take this. Now, okay, end of the chapter, they reveal that I'm looking for my older brother that I hear is now in Wano. I am, Momonosuke's sister, Hiyori. Okay, you're Komurasaki, we know that. A lot of people call it. And I am still skeptical of this reveal. I see multiple possibilities. And it's not because my theory about if this is the case, that Komurasaki is Kanemon's daughter and that's thrown out the window anymore. There are other possibilities here. Now, as someone who watched soap operas growing up, being babysat by my mother and my grandmother and not having much of a choice of what was on the TV, I am very familiar with the concept of my evil twin brother and things like that, right? Was doing all the evil deeds all along, you know, that very classic thing. And in that sense, in that way, I'm going to pose a few things. Number one, bipolarism, personality disorder, that kind of stuff. There is Komurasaki is one person and Hiyori is the other in two bodies. It's just a theory. I have no evidence to suggest otherwise. It's just what I have, it's just a possibility that I can see Oda doing. The next one is, once again, this is a twin. Or something to that effect. Now, once again, no evidence for that either. Another possibility. It's the truth. This is Hiyori. Why she would reveal this to the first stranger she met, who looks like a foreigner but a samurai from Wano, and she has no idea if it could be a member of Kaido's crew or not, unless she is extremely well informed, which is a possibility. If she was the courtesan for X number of years, she might have had access to different, and with Kyoshiro's network, assuming that by the looks of it, they're clearly working together. He did not slaughter her, but this is of course assuming that I'm right about the fact that this is, it could potentially be a body double or somebody like that. You know, a Padme Amidala from Star Wars thing going on. Or it could be evil stepsister or twin sister or whatever. Personality disorder. There's a million things that this could be. But as I said, assuming that this is the truth, it does not mean that she's on the side of good. And it seems very strange that she would reveal herself to the first foreigner she met. But she seems to be playing this game. And the other possibility is, once again, it is Kanemon's daughter. She's only claiming to be Hiyori because she thinks that will get her where she needs to go. Or maybe she was told she's Hiyori this whole time, when she's in fact Kanemon's daughter. So there are multiple theories and possibilities, some of which have no evidence, as I just said. A lot of them don't. But it would make a lot of sense in some ways that, okay, there's a fifth possibility, a fifth one. She is Hiyori, she is working with Kyoshiro, she knows about Zoro and stuff, and she's lying. Because she is the mole the whole time. She's the informant, she's the mole, and she doesn't care about the Kazuki clan. She's bitter towards them. Her life was ruined. She hates her mother, she hates her father, she hates the samurai. They abandoned her, blah, blah, blah. Could go down that line. I see Oda doing that. But because we had the pudding thing just last arc, he might not do that. He might hold off, but it could be a similar situation with the pudding thing, that he actually resents them, even though he's going to work towards them. But a flip side version of that, do you know what I mean? So I'm not going to spend all the time going through each theory, but those are just 5 or 6 possibilities that this could be. She could be telling the truth, but that doesn't mean she's on the side of good. Why is she telling the truth? Is she actually Hiyori, or does she believe she's Hiyori? Is she the twin sister? Is she split personality disorder? Is she actually Kanemon's daughter pretending to be Hiyori? Is she a body double for the real Komurasaki / Hiyori? There is a lot. It just felt laid on too thick that this was Hiyori, and Oda has just, boom, yeah, this is Hiyori. Giving up the mystery so soon. That's not like Oda. There's more to this story. So I still question the validation, the legitimacy of this claim. But of course we are on break next week, ladies and gentlemen, so that is really unfortunate. So anyways, what do you guys think of the chapter? What do you think of the review? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Please like, subscribe, comment. As always, it's always very much appreciated. Once again, go check out every other One Piece reviewer stuff. I know we have a crazy amount of oversaturation on YouTube for One Piece reviewers, but if you like my video, if you watch my video, there are a ton of other great people on YouTube who also review the series. So please go check them out as well, always supporting. Yeah, so this has been Hungover Griever with your chapter 938 of One Piece. Break next week, as I said, everyone. Drink responsibly, as clearly I didn't do last night, and we'll see you back here next time. Hair of the Dog helps. See ya.